Alright, hey everybody, thanks for watching. What I want to show you today is my experience with mammoth sunflowers, and this is the first time I tried to grow them. I've grown the smaller ones before, but I needed quick coverage for this fence here, and all in all they did pretty well. I had some of them top out at around 2 or 3 feet tall and bloom out, like this little guy over here. Didn't get real big. This one got broken off by the dog, but it put out a couple of little side flowers on it, so it's kind of cute. This was one of the first ones to bloom. I already took the head off of it. We got a cold snap here in South Florida. Believe it or not, we do get cold weather sometimes. We got a cold snap about a month or so after planting, and it seems like that encouraged a lot of them to bloom out. Some of them kept growing, and you can see that I had a couple top out up over 10 feet. This guy here is about 8 feet, and down here we got a good 10 feet on this one. The leaves are also massive. It's a really big leaf on it. Great looking plant, really thick at the base. That's something else I want to show you guys. I planted these once, and every single seed got dug up and eaten by the birds and the critters. So I re-sowed everything, and I put down the plastic netting to keep the bugs, not the bugs, the little critters from getting the seeds. I waited until the seeds germinated, and the seedlings got about 6 inches or so tall, and then I went in around the base of each plant, and I went ahead and cut the plastic mesh so the plant could get big at the base, because I didn't want to constrict the plant. I knew they'd get bigger than 1 inch in diameter, so I went ahead and cut the plastic. Real easy to do. Good way to do it if you have critters that keep coming to your plants eating them. But these guys were just planted in plain old Florida sand. I didn't do any kind of amending to the soil or anything. One interesting thing to note here is that our soil is dry. It's actually water repellent. So it was real hard to water these. I had to water them up until they were about 5 feet tall. I had to water them just about every day to keep them from wilting. It seems like once they got bigger, they were a little more drought resistant, but they need a lot of water. Another really interesting thing is these were all supposed to have been mammoths, but I got several that had multiple blooms on them. I also got a combination of dark centers and light centers. This one was very light when it came out, and this plant even looks different than the others. Leaves and everything are different. I'm going to save seeds from it because it's awfully nice. But this is my experience with mammoths. I'm going to pause the video for a minute, and I'm going to walk out front because I want to show you some that I actually transplanted from this bed when I thinned them out. So I'll be right back with you guys. Alright, so here we are back in the front yard now, and believe it or not, some of these are mammoths that I transplanted. You can see this little guy bloomed out already. We have a bud on this one. That's a zinnia, that's not a sunflower, but I had a couple really small. Then I had this little guy bloom out. He's maybe 3 feet tall, if that. This one here had a little bit more ambition. And we have this guy here going. He's just over 4 feet now, and he's budding up. But transplanting these seems to make a really big impact on their growth. I would really encourage you to sow the seeds directly where you want them. These little guys over here that are just finished blooming are black oil sunflowers. A lot of you are familiar with the seeds. You can buy them as bulk seed that you feed to birds and stuff. And I planted a bunch of seeds to see what had happened. And you can see that not much happened. I planted these just in our plain old bad South Florida soil. But I went ahead and amended the soil. I put in peat moss and compost and really made a nice rich soil. And I'm going to yank these guys up and replant and see if they do better. There's one other thing I want to show you. Oh, I should also tell you that the big sunflowers in the back, on March the 2nd, they were about 6 inches tall. Today is the 1st of May, and you could see back there already 10 feet tall with flowers on them. So that's pretty amazing. That's a whole lot of growth in a short amount of time. There's one more really fun thing I want to show you guys over here. It's not a sunflower, but a lot of you are probably familiar with amaranthus, or love lies bleeding. I decided to see if it would grow here in South Florida, so I planted some. And so far we're looking good. These are now passing 5 feet tall, blooming out, like as you can see. And they were just planted 2 months ago. Just 2 months ago. Already got blooms on all of them. And then all the way down my property line, I've got more coming up and all starting to bloom out now. So it's going to look nice. Another nice feature of amaranth is that the leaves are edible. They're actually really delicious. We've been having them in salads and on our burgers and that. The leaves are really good and they're nutritious. So thanks for looking, everybody. Hope you enjoy, and we'll talk to you next time.